Our next honoree is an award-winning, prolific, and widely read journalist, author, lecturer, historian, commentator, filmmaker, and even something of a movie star. That's when he has a little extra spare time. If you've seen his cameos in the movies, Dave and Seabiscuit, Richard Reeves, class of 1960, is the 2015 recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award for the Arts and Humanities. True to the entrepreneurial spirit of Stevens alumni, Dick started his own newspaper at the age of 23, the Phillipsburg Free Press in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. He went on to write 20 books and counting, there's more to come, and serves as the chief political correspondent for the New York Times. He's written extensively on Presidents Kennedy, Nixon, Reagan, and Clinton, and the nature of leadership. Time magazine praised his best-selling Kennedy study as the 1994 nonfiction book of the year. His books on the Berlin airlift and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan have pivotal historical events. He has channeled de Tocqueville as an observer across America and as a travel writer, taken his audience on trips all over the world. His newest book, Infamy, it's about the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, is available now for pre-order on Amazon. Amazon, here it is. My own copy here. See, nice, nice. I'm sure it's a wonderful read, as all of his books have been. As an Emmy winner, among many other literary, journalistic, and television awards, the New York Public Library has called him a literary lion. And while readers will hear the roar of his words into the future, tonight we celebrate Richard Reeves' extraordinary voice and proudly present him this Distinguished Alumni Awards for Arts and Humanities.
Now, about the cameo business. Those roles were bigger than cameos. And I'm also the return on investment business, which obviously reflects extremely well on the school we all went to. But in terms of return, the tuition was $400 a semester. For what? So, you know, I got my money's worth, but I am proud, very proud, to be an engineer among engineers. But if I were as good as everyone else in this room, I wouldn't be standing here. I might still be at Ingersoll Rand screwing up plans for pumps and compressors. I was able to move on and follow many vectors, many directions, because of what I learned at Stevens. Rigorous is an understatement. The school was, and still is, a rigorous place. I had to work harder. I learned to think. I learned to isolate the variable. I also came in contact with people, for those of us from the class of 1960, which was quite an extraordinary class, I think. A lecture in Kitty Hall by Doc Humphrey, Professor Richard Humphrey, has stuck with me along with isolating the variable. In those days, we covered the Middle Ages in an hour. And Dick Humphreys, Dr. Humphreys, was the lecturer. And I have never forgotten how that lecture ended. He went on about how miserable life was for most people, living in the mud, dying young, being struck down by aristocrats if they just felt like it. And he ended the lecture by saying, and it was a time when spring came, people fell in love, and they didn't want to die. And I have never forgotten that. I've worked all around the world and seen conditions almost like that. People want to live, and it's been a privilege to live with those people. I never imagined when I was sitting in Bayless for the alumni here, they can explain that to the alumna, late at night writing a humor column in the Stute under the dictatorial supervision of the Dalton brothers, And now I'm a professor. You never would have guessed that if anybody checks my 2.1 average, but now I'm a doctor, honorary, and now I'm a professor, and I am a great fan of small colleges. As an alumnus of a small college, I now teach at a gigantic college, the University of Southern California. But both the president and his predecessor as presidents are electrical engineers. And fear not, when the three of us are together, we have plenty to talk about, many about how much better educated we are than everyone else. Thank you, and thank you, Stevens.